After a week of some of the most cringe-worthy court scenes to ever grace the internet, the Hulk Hogan vs. Gawker trial has finally come to a close. Hulk Hogan, who throughout the trial dressed as a grieving gypsy widow, is now sitting pretty on top of a fresh $140 million fortune, while the Gawker officers are spending their post-trial doldrums wallowing in that 1945 Berlin bunker ambiance, as their toxic editors frantically yet fruitlessly polish their CVs and Gawker's Führer Nick Denton silently contemplates the Luger in his desk drawer. I'd call this courtroom battle a titanic clash for the ages, but it was more of a one-sided, unyielding rape-down that battered the ever-loving shit out of both the Gawker empire and the shady practices of the SJW bloggers who run it. While I may have been hoping for a pitiless slugfest akin to Hulk Hogan taking on the Iron Sheik in the mid-80s, what I ended up watching was more like Conor McGregor in a Gundam suit fighting Michael Cera with cancer. In one corner was Gawker, the online publishing phenomenon beloved of social justice warriors and behind many of the internet's most cancerous websites. They started the trend for accusatory clickbait titles that offer the promise of fury or self-flagellation for any masochist tempted to click. You know, the kind of headlines, "Sorry white people, but your elbows are racist," and "Why do men think it's acceptable to murder women?" and "How to tell if your baby is a pig raper." The main players on Gawker's team were Nick Denton, Gawker's founder slash owner slash publisher slash your wrists if you happen to be him, and AJ Daulerio, the former Gawker editor-in-chief who published the original video and wrote a nasty, mocking article to go with it. And in the other corner, uh-oh, what's this? Hulk fucking Hogan, a generation-spanning hero to young boys everywhere. Young, salt-of-the-earth, upstanding, good, clean, heterosexual Christian boys. The kind of apple-cheeked, rascally wee roustabouts who like nothing more than watching greased-up, 50-year-old steroid balloons in studded leather panties and thigh-high boots get intimately sweaty with each other in a grunting pas de deux of daintily choreographed thrusts and body slams. The kind of blue-eyed, innocent young scamps who love nothing more than stripping to their delicates on a hot summer's day and roughly cavorting with each other in backyard displays of physical dominance. The kind of golden-haired young cherubs who take their vitamins, say their prayers, and think nothing of snuggling up naked next to friendly Father McGregor to preserve precious body warmth on those chilly nights of Bible camp. The kind of smooth, hairless rascals with dimpled cheeks and shining hearts who have a taste for manliness and know how to keep a secret. Healthy, strapping, darling young boys. And girls as well, probably. So in 2006, Hulk Hogan fucked Heather Clem, the wife of his best friend Bubba the Love Sponge. It seems like Bubba was happy to let Hulkamania run wild on Heather's dusty old Clem, as his voice can be heard in the video encouraging the act. So this doesn't seem to be a nasty case of infidelity. It seems to be something more innocent, more normal and healthy, like being cucked by your muscle-bound best mate. Whatever, we're not here to pass judgment on Mr. Hulk Hogan, Mr. Bubba the Love Cuck, or Mrs. Heather the Cum Sponge. We're here to pass judgment on Gawker. I haven't actually watched the sex tape. I mean, there's only so much I'll do for research purposes. But I am willing to bet a lifetime supply of moustache grease and banana yellow bandanas that at some point, mere moments before orgasm, Mr. Hogan entered into a tantric state of Hulkamania, his sinewy muscle mass gripped in spastic ecstasy, the leathery cracked skin on his face contorted into a huffing rictus of delayed gratification. The ground around the house of the love sponges starts to shake, the Hulkster's powerful calf muscles, empirical proof of his dedication to leg day, begin to quiver as light bulbs shatter and birds fall from the sky. Using two hands, Hulk tears apart the bright yellow condom on his shrunken steroid penis, and finally unleashes the mounting volcanic pressure that is built up inside his throbbing championship balls, releasing a single pitiful droplet of low sperm count semen that drizzles disappointingly down the underside of his detumescing cocklet. Shoulda done all them drugs, Hulk. Shoulda done all them drugs. Unbeknownst to the Hulkster, his buddy Bubba had videotaped the whole thing. Because if you're going to have a physically superior man run wild on your loving wife, you're going to want to record that heartbreaking experience for posterity, so you can keep the ego-decimating pain pickled in vinegar for you to freshly relish whenever your life is lacking a sharp pang of misery. As happens with every single private sexual photo or video that has ever been recorded, it eventually found its way onto the internet, this time via Gawker's vertical Deadspin, whose editor, AJ Daulerio, remember that cunt, he'll be coming up later, wrote an article mocking the Hulkster and displaying a 101-second excerpt from the 30-minute video he claims was handed to him anonymously. My guess is that this was probably revenge porn on the part of Bubba, who was going through an acrimonious divorce at the time, but apparently the Bubster and the Hulkster have made up, so Hulk doesn't blame him for the release of the tape, I mean, at least not publicly. Hulk launched a $100 million lawsuit against Gawker, arguing that they'd invaded his privacy. Gawker argued that they were exercising their right to free speech, and that because Hulk is a public figure and has spoken about his sex life publicly, that they were well within their rights to publish the video. Just like how Gawker also thought it was fine to publish naked photos of Jennifer Lawrence and other female celebrities caught up in the fappening because, oh shit, oh wait, no, silly me. They said that anyone who looked at those leaked photos was an abuser, a rapist, and, worst of all, a white man. Gawker's defense here is what Gawker itself often refers to as victim blaming. If Hulk didn't want to be secretly recorded having sex and then to have that recording maliciously published for public consumption, then why does he invite such actions by dressing like a whore and talking about sex? Hogan is a fucking sleut, and he got what he deserved. Jennifer Lawrence, on the other hand, is a blessed angel who bravely survived being mass raped by the eyes of horny teenagers, after every soft-cocked creep in the Western Hemisphere has afforded the opportunity to gaze longingly right up her crudely shaven fuckhole. This trial raises a number of interesting questions about privacy and free speech, about revenge porn and celebrity, none of which I'll be exploring in any depth because by far the most fun and notable things to come out of this trial involve witnessing what a bunch of abject cunt tumours the staff at Gawker are. For a long time now, Gawker has been known as the cancer of the internet, and yeah, I know, plenty of things online are called cancer, but Gawker is such an oversized clump of deadly metastasized black matter that it makes BuzzFeed look like little more than a benign mole on your lower back. Gawker is so worryingly, invidiously cancerous that 5 minutes on their main site will leave you thinking YouTube comments are about as much cause for alarm as an out-of-season cough. We are talking about a more pure, unadulterated form of cancer than you can find anywhere else on the internet. There are no impurities in Gawker's cancer, it's not cut with empathy, it hasn't been diluted with any ethical concerns. We are dealing with cancer fish scale, fresh off the boat from Bolivia. And Nick Denton is the Pablo Escobar of online cancer distribution. Not because he's a talented entrepreneur worthy of fearful respect, but because he's a fat, heartless cunt who manages to be a trinity of orphaners combining the soulless megalomania of Rupert Murdoch, the entitled, smug sociopathy of King Joffrey, and the relentless ugliness of the Goblin Shark. There is just so much to this case, I really can't fit it all in one video. So we're gonna have to skip over the hypocrisy of Gawker publishing the dick pics of sports stars who are subsequently forced to publicly apologise for allowing themselves to be humiliated and betrayed. We'll have to gloss over Gawker frequently outing male celebrities suspected of being gay, and even outing a private individual who worked for a rival company, who they outed despite the fact that he is married with children, and despite the fact that the source for their story was a blackmailing rent boy making good on his threat to publicly expose the man if he didn't pay the ransom demand. Shit, fucking, just let that sink in for a moment. We'll also just have to briefly skim over how much of a true free speech warrior AJ Daulerio is. He is so passionate about his First Amendment rights that he even published a video of a 17-year-old girl getting raped. Just a standard, non-famous private citizen. Even after she sent him a letter pleading with him to remove the video, he told her to not make a big deal about it. And he's totally in the right. I mean, what a sensitive crybaby. It's only a little video of her being brutally violated while she was unconscious, plastered all over the internet for her grandparents and future employers to see. What kind of a self-involved diva would kick up a fuss about that? Ugh, get over yourself, bitch. Again, just fucking let that sink in when you think about what horrible people we're dealing with here. So we're gonna skip over all that shit and just jump straight into the trial, because as bad as all the things I've just mentioned were, AJ Daulerio genuinely thinks it's perfectly reasonable to publish stolen videos of 5-year-olds getting raped. You didn't miss here. Daulerio thinks that 5-year-old pussy is fair game. The rape of a 4-year-old is beyond the pale, but 5-year-olds know what they're doing, the little fucking hooers.
Imagine a situation where a celebrity sex tape would not be newsworthy. If they were a child. Underway. 4.
While it's possible that AJ Daulerio simply has a predilection for preschool pussy, the truth seems to be that AJ is simply such an earth-shattering, monumentally arrogant bumper cunt that he thought a legal deposition in front of hostile litigators, with both his and his company's financial future hanging in the balance, was the perfect time to start goofing off about toddlers being raped on camera.
I understood your testimony a moment ago when you referenced your standard of newsworthiness being a child celebrity over the age of 4. You were joking? Is that what you just said?
I did say that, yeah.
You think that's a funny topic to joke about, child pornography?
No, not at all.
And at the time that you made that joke, you were in a deposition, right?
Yeah.
You were in a deposition and asked a question about one of the central issues in this case, were you not?
The central issues in this case, which was what?
Newsworthiness.
Yeah.
That's your defense, right? That's the First Amendment?
That is.
And when you were asked a question about newsworthiness, you made a joke. Is that what you're telling this jury here today?
No.
This is an example of how SJWs always lie. This kind of tactic usually works well for them on Twitter or wherever, but it just goes to show how pathological their lying instinct is. Usually they're happy to brazenly lie in front of hundreds of witnesses, then simply claim that anyone who points out their falsehood is harassing them. Well, this tactic doesn't work out so well in court. It's somewhat ironic that this trial is over a leaked sex tape, because you are about to witness video of AJ Daulerio getting fucked harder than a 5-year-old at a Gawker office party.
You just said you were making a joke, Mr. Daulerio. Do we need to read back your testimony?
You can read back the testimony, sure.
Okay. Can we read that back?
Issues in this case, which was what? Question is, the answer we have. Question that's right, that's the First Amendment, yes.
Thank you. So you were joking in your deposition about newsworthiness, correct?
About the newsworthiness of what?
Child pornography. You were joking about child pornography, were you not?
You've already seen the footage of this, and I was sarcastic.
Oh, you think the footage shows that you're being sarcastic?
I absolutely do.
Okay. We'll look at that in just a second.
Go ahead.
Many people have said that the outcome of this trial hinges on making the jury feel sympathy for the Hulkster. To that end, this reptilian cunt might as well have been working for Hogan's lawyers. Now, I realise that in SJW circles, paedophiles are seen as an oppressed sexual minority. But for people not blinded by regressive self-righteousness, you really aren't going to win any sympathy by declaring your solidarity with kiddie fiddlers.
You were under oath at your deposition, right?
Yeah,
You raised your right hand and you swore to tell the truth?
I did.
And you had 3 lawyers in that deposition with you, did you not? You had Mr. Berlin, correct?
Yeah.
And you had Heather Dietrich, who was in-house counsel and president for Gawker Media, right?
Yes.
And you also had Leah Smith. She was in there as well.
Who's Leah Smith? Sure.
You understand that that deposition was important, right?
I do.
I mean, this is an important case, isn't it?
Yes.
It involves the First Amendment, right?
Yep.
AJ Daulerio's deposition was recorded in November 2013, with his lawyers present. After the deposition, Daulerio was asked to sign an errata, which is a legal document that allowed him to go over his statements and correct any mistakes, inaccuracies, or slips of the tongue that might be used against him in court. So of course he would have amended his statement about the acceptability of porn featuring first graders. I mean, of course he would. No matter how much of a swirling maelstrom of smugness and idiocy you were, you would definitely correct that sentence, right?
So you don't think that the transcript in this case accurately reflects what you were trying to convey in that deposition? Is that
Absolutely
what
not.
you're
Yeah.
saying? Do you recall, after your deposition, being sent an errata sheet?
What's an errata sheet?
You were sent a sheet after your deposition where you could read your deposition and make any corrections in the event that anything in it was inaccurate. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And you did that, right?
I did.
You read your deposition carefully, didn't you?
I did.
It's your signature, isn't it?
That is.
And the only thing that you changed in this deposition was the transcription of posting question to posting in question, right? That's the only thing that you changed.
That seems correct, yeah.
You didn't go back and change your testimony about a 4-year-old celebrity sex tape being newsworthy, did you?
If I had the opportunity to insert that I was joking, I would have.
But you didn't do that, did you?
No, I didn't. I didn't know it was
And your
involved.
lawyers were involved in that process too, right?
They were?
You see here that you declared under penalty of perjury that you've read the entire transcript of my deposition, taken in the above captioned matter, or the same has been read to me and the same is true and accurate, right?
Yep.
And you signed that. That's your signature.
Yes.
November 11th, 2013, you signed it.
Yes.
So there was nothing else in your deposition that you thought was inaccurate, correct?
At the time that I signed this, no, I don't think so.
Okay, well, fucked up there. But I think you can salvage it, AJ. I'm rooting for you, buddy. You can do this, man. If you just manage to not openly laugh during the next question about publishing videos of child rape, we might just be able to get through this deposition unscathed. Go for it, mate. You can do this. I believe in you.
Well, what about this Miley Cyrus sex tape from the boyfriend? Would that be newsworthy?
She under 4 at the time, sex tape.
That's you, right?
That is me?
Those are your words?
Yes.
Are you laughing there?
Yep.
You're laughing.
Yes, sir.
Your testimony under oath before this jury with that image up there is that you're laughing at that point in time?
It's not out loud laughter, no, but it is a smirk, yeah.
Oh, shit. You nearly got it, buddy. You nearly got it. Almost, though. You almost managed to take child porn seriously. Like I said, there's absolutely fucking tons of stuff to get through from this trial. But I think it's time to bring this video to a close. It's already gotten far longer than I'd planned. If people enjoy this one, I might do a follow-up video to take on some of the aspects of the trial I missed out on and to deal with the fallout. I didn't even get to include any fucking videos of Nick Denton, Jesus, and just like his protege, AJ Daulerio, Denton proved himself to be a soulless plastic hack all throughout the trial. Particular highlights included him being forced to read out some of the absolute shit he has seen fit to print. Denton is such a creepy, sinister, vile piece of genuine shit that I honestly don't think he was born of woman like a regular human being. It's more likely that his earthly mother was merely the vessel for a dark magic ritual to create the Antipodean Antichrist. Having been doused in virgin blood and forcefully bred with a selection of cloven-hooved beasts, the elder Mrs. Denton was taken to the pinnacle of Ayers Rock with her legs spread-eagled before the setting outback sun, whereupon she cunt-blasted a fiery scum comet out into the world, blazing a parabolic trail of venal deceit and grubby sensationalism across the blood-red sky. Nick Denton isn't a human, he's a fucking omen. A caustic warning to the people of Earth that we need to stand united against the privacy-invading filth peddlers and proudly corrupt race and gender baiters that have turned the gloriously unregulated world of online media into a narrative-pushing, biased ethics desert. Denton also serves as a timely reminder that when a disparate group of consumer rebels spontaneously forms to demand more ethics and journalism, maybe we should try listening to what they have to say rather than cheaply dismissing them with sock-just buzzwords.